what's happening, guys? While eagerly waiting for the February for the announcement of the brand new Spider-Man reboot, which might be actually announced by Sony and Marvel, the chances are very high. The new Spider-Man trilogy, which will be split in production casts by Sony and Marvel. I would like to explain my thoughts as to how I think they should introduce Peter Parker, the brand new Spider-Man, and how they must actually, what aspects they should keep from the previous films, Spider-Man films, from the comics, from his origins, and how to make him actually likable and appealing to the audience. And of course, this is the second Spider-Man reboot in like 10 years, and it's a very risky move, as I said previously in my previous videos, from both Sony and Marvel, but there's no way out currently. They got rid of Andrew Garfield, they're going to bring new Spider-Man, and of course it has to be a fresh take on Spider-Man. Marvel won't take the whole baggage of the Amazing Spider-Man 2 reception into their cinematic universe. They have to start from zero, basically. They have to start from very fresh point. That's the reason they got rid of Andrew Garfield and he got fired actually. So Marvel wants to start with a new Spider-Man and they want to adapt him into MCU without any previous ties to the Amazing Spider-Man franchise. The new Peter Parker, in my opinion, number one is of course he should be the big player, make him a huge player from the start on. We previously heard that Spidey might be introduced in Civil War. Unfortunately, he won't play his real role in Civil War storyline. Instead, it will be just a cameo role with Tony Stark, with Black Widow. Tony might give him this suit and that's it. Now, in order to make him likable, in order to make him appealing to the audience, they should make him a big player from start on. By saying a big player, I want Spidey to make a difference in the MCU the moment he appears in Marvel films. I want him to be recognized by Avengers, by the members of the Avengers team and by all the other Marvel characters. I don't want him to be an underdog, neither I want him to be a sidekick, which might happen once he gets introduced. Since he is just a teenager, he will be introduced as a very young version of Peter Parker, pretty much the ultimate one. He's still in high school, he's dating Mary Jane Watson, most likely. I wouldn't be surprised if he's already with MJ in Marvel's new Spider-Man trilogy. So make him a big player, make him really noticeable, make him do something, even if it will be a short cameo scene in Civil War. Make the difference with this Peter Parker, and a huge difference, like maybe Spidey will actually play a crucial role in fighting another Infinity Gem, you know, that type of difference. We do know that from this whole deal Sony might actually use two major Marvel characters, and Marvel can actually use Spider-Man whenever they want to, apparently. So I don't know, what the next Infinity Stone might be actually found in Doctor Strange. Let's say Doctor takes Spidey in another dimension, you know, just take Spider-Man somewhere and let him play his role, and a big role. This way we will definitely feel the importance of this character, because Spider-Man definitely deserves an importance. Spider-Man is not a Hawkeye in the Avengers. Spider-Man is freaking Spider-Man, for God's sake. So if he joins Marvel, the whole universe should see it. Of course, another things which Marvel should consider, and Sony both as well, to make people actually accept this second reboot, which is crazy, honestly, if you think about it, is of course what was already mentioned: less love storylines, more Peter Parker, actually more Spider-Man. That's the second thing, more Spider-Man. Sure, the life of Peter Parker is an important aspect of Spider-Man. That's why he's so relatable, and that's why he's so appealing to the younger generation, younger fans of Spider-Man, because he's dealing with pretty much all the problems we were dealing in school, in high school, in university, in college. That's the Peter Parker. Still, we had plenty of Peter Parker's life in Sam Raimi's trilogy, and we had even more of Peter Parker's everyday, daily problems, his depressions over a girl he loves in Mark Webb's Spider-Man as well. So no love stories. Sure, he can date MJ, they can have few conflicts here and there, especially seeing how Sony wants to adapt the Kraven Last Hunt storyline. Yeah, sure, go ahead. Spider-Man disappears due to Kraven's action, and MJ we can see MJ, she's worrying, she's looking for him. That type of relationship could definitely work in a film, but no crying Peter Parker because he left his girlfriend and he came back to her and then he left her again, or she is dating some astronaut guy now. Nope. Please, no more love stories, just focus on him actually being Spider-Man, and I want Peter to think about his responsibility. I want him to think about what he should do as Spider-Man and not spend half of the day thinking about relationship with his girlfriend. So this way, just make him a hero, just show us him being hero, show us him being true Spider-Man, not necessarily a nerd Peter Parker. More Spider-Man, less Peter Parker. That's in my opinion how you should actually make him appealing. Of course, another thing, more humor, please, more humor. Andrew Garfield Spider-Man definitely threw a bunch of funny jokes here. Tobey not so much, but Spider-Man is... why do we love Spider-Man? Because he's getting beaten to death and he still throws jokes and he still has his sense of humor. So more humor. Marvel knows, especially Feige, especially Whedon, they know how to properly make a movie with a proper amount of humor, proper amount of seriousness. So Spider-Man should definitely bring his own unique sense of humor. He shouldn't joke like Tony did in previous Marvel Cinematic Universe films, like Cap did. You know, Cap's kinda cocky jokes and kinda not so funny. Spider-Man should bring his own unique Spidey humor, his ability to deal with problems with a smile on his face. I mean, Spidey's humor is his trademark. Once again, it will be tough, yes, it will be tough to accept a new actor, definitely, but if this new guy will throw some really nice jokes there, here and there, and will actually show his vulnerability and, you know, his weakness maybe, and then he actually jokes about himself, you know, it's just a success formula. Of course, besides adding new stuff and actually making the proper Spider-Man character, they should change a bunch of things from previous films. For example, the portrayal of a Spidey sense, you know, it's just you wouldn't really think about it, but make this Spidey sense look on the without the slow-mo thing, make it differently, you know. Make his web shooters different, make the cartridges around his web, the classic retro web shooters, bring something classic and definitely change his appearance, his costume. Now, the problem with the costume, in my opinion, the Amazing Spider-Man 2 featured probably the best Spidey costume, so bigger lenses. Might be they could go with the Bagley's eyes, McFarlane, much bigger Spidey eyes on a Spidey costume. These type of small things, you know, with the costume, the web shooters, the portrayal of the Spidey sense, you know, how it will actually look on the big screen without the slow-mo, something different, can also make a difference. You know, make him competitive. Also, that's very important point. Spidey should be competitive. Let's not forget how he actually started. The first did cause issues. What Spidey did once he got the powers, one of the few things, he wanted to join the Fantastic Four, and they actually sort of took him as a prisoner because he, as far as I remember, he trespassed, and then there was a conflict between him and Human Torch. Spidey is competitive. He is, especially the younger version of Peter Parker, he should be a little bit cocky, you know, even though some people didn't like it. This thing about Andrew Garfield, Spider-Man should be competitive. I wouldn't be surprised if he and, let's say, Quicksilver will make some sort of a, you know, I don't know, a marathon, like, you know, in some sort of movie where they will actually test their abilities, and Spidey would like to be a winner. What if he appears, is getting introduced in Civil War, and he's actually taken as a prisoner because he's way too emotional, you know, and they, Nick Fury, whatever, you know, and they actually take him as a prisoner because he's way too active, you know. If these things, which I just mentioned today, in my opinion, will be actually Marvel will take into consideration, and Sony, I think the new reboot won't be really a disaster or something huge or something to cry about. Yeah, sure, Andrew was fired, but you know, maybe we can move on, maybe we can accept someone else, and that's about it from me. I'm very curious as to what do you guys think. What do you think about how they should handle Spider-Man, how to introduce him, not so that the audience will actually accept him and won't hate on a brand new poor actor, young guy, just because he's a new Spider-Man for a third time now. Tell me your thoughts in the description box, and I'm off for now.